I managed to get sent out to France, partly by mistake, to the first QVR in April 1915. I was convinced that if I did not get out quickly, the war would be over before I got out, and that would be very disgraceful to me. In fact, it was illegal for anyone to go out before he was 19, which I was not. I found myself on my first visit to the line, accidentally in command of a company, owing to casualties, and told to be ready to support an attack on Hill 60. But I did not have to go. After the war, he was articled to a firm of chartered accountants, qualifying in 1922. He claimed that he never liked accounting, and I never was a good accountant. I joined the wrong partner, and then tried to set up a practice of my own. 1925 to 1935 were not my most successful or profitable years. At this point, Hull's life was transformed. Impressed by Francis Iles's cynical but superb crime novel Malice Aforethought, 1931, he came up with a clever idea for a novel of his own. The Murder of My Aunt, 1934, proved to be a critical and commercial triumph. 14 more novels followed, together with at least one short story, his last book appearing in 1953. He wrote that he had stayed with the QVR until December 1929, when, partly because I could not afford it, I retired, but I used to keep up with them and go to camp. When war broke out again in 1939, to my surprise, they wanted me back. I started the morning of September the 1st, 1939, as a civilian, with no idea of being anything else, and ended in uniform in command of a company, having got rid of my lodging and such accountancy practice as I had. It was distinctly startling. In May 1940, his troops were ordered overseas at short notice, but it was decided that Hull was too old to go with them. I was very upset, but it was really very lucky for me. They were all taken prisoner at Calais. So I missed 5 years in a prisoner of war camp. I more or less demobilized myself in order to use my accountancy knowledge as a cost-investigating accountant for the Admiralty, the idea being to see that no one was overcharging them. There I stayed for 18 years, until I decided that I could retire in 1958. It was interesting to deal with different people in different firms, and to try to solve various cost accountancy problems, but I always had an uneasy suspicion that the whole department was a waste of time. Hull's interests often found their way into his books, and a cost-investigating accountant takes a leading role in The Unfortunate Murderer, 1941. He was keen on philately and fine wine, and both play a part in Until She Was Dead, 1950. He spent a great deal of his time at the United Universities Club in Suffolk Street, just off Trafalgar Square, and told Nick, "I have many friends there, and a satisfactory supply of enemies." Keep It Quiet, 1935, set in a fictional gentleman's club, no doubt offered him the chance to pay off a few scores. In 1946, he was elected to membership of the Detection Club, which had been founded by Anthony Berkeley, also known as Francis Iles. Along with Christiana Brand, the barrister Cyril Hare, and the American Alice Campbell. Later, Hull became the club's secretary, and, in common with Berkeley, Dorothy L. Sayers, and others, he retained his enthusiasm for the club's activities long after his zest for actually writing crime fiction had faded. He took a leading role in making the arrangements for the initiation of Agatha Christie as president of the club after Sayers's death, and continued to assist Christie with her duties for several years. He died in 1973, by which time most of his books had been unavailable for many years. The British Library's decision to reissue this book, and The Murder of My Aunt, gives present-day readers an opportunity to acquaint themselves with one of the most innovative of crime writers. Martin Edwards, www.martinedwardsbooks.com